Hello everyone. Welcome to Patagala College of Commerce and Management. This is Dr. D.S. Musky. Today I am going to teach you Globalization and Indian Society. And under this topic I will cover concept of LPG, impact of globalization on industry, changes in agriculture sector due to globalization, impact of globalization on employment, short note on growth of corporate farming, increase in farmer suicide, and growth of IT and communication. So over here you will be asked one question. That question will be, what is the concept of LPG and explain the major elements of the LPG. Just understand the introduction first. The concept of liberalization, privatization and globalization gain in prominence in the late 20th century in many parts of the world. In India, the term LPG gained significance with the adoption of industrial policy. The term liberalization refers to freedom to business enterprises from excessive government control. There are less licensing and the other formalities to be followed by the business firm due to reforms introduced by the industrial policy 1991 and subsequent economic policies of the government. Economic liberalization was a bold decision by the former then Prime Minister Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao. Here you have to understand some of the major elements of the liberalization in India. Number 1, delicensing of the industries. As per the Industrial Policy 1991, abolished licensing for most industries. Only 6 industries required licensing or license. For example, alcohol industry, cigarette industry, and industrial explosive items, defense products, drugs and pharmaceuticals, and hazardous chemicals. So this was about the delicensing of the industries. This was the first element of the liberalization. Now the second element of the liberalization is a liberalization of foreign investment. Prior to 1991, it was necessary to obtain approval from the various government authorities for the foreign investment in India. This often caused delays. Industrial Policy 1991 specified a list of high investment wherein automatic approval is provided for the foreign direct investment. At present, the FDI is allowed even up to 100% in certain sectors such as infrastructure, exports, hotels and tourism industry, etc. Now here you can see the third element of the liberalization, that is liberalization of foreign technology imports. The Industrial Policy 1991 liberalized the imports of foreign technology in order to bring about the technological improvement in Indian industry. The automatic permission was given for the foreign technology imports in priority industries up to 2 million US dollars. No permission was required from the government authorities for hiring the foreign technicians. The Make in India initiatives of the Government of India advocates the reduction in the dependence on the imports of foreign technology. The main objectives of the reducing the imports of foreign technology are as follows. Number 1, saving foreign exchange. Number 2, building technological capacity for the manufacturing. And the third objective is developing new skills. This is the fourth element of liberalization, is liberalization of industrial location. The Industrial Policy 1991 stated that there is no need to obtain approval from the central government to locate industries anywhere in the country. However, industries subject to licensing are required to obtain government approval for industrial location. So this was about the fourth element of the liberalization, that is liberalization of industrial location. Now let us understand element number 5, liberal taxation. The government of India has introduced a liberal tax regime. The direct and indirect tax rates have been reducing. For example, the corporate tax rates have been reduced to 30%, that is current level, for Indian firm, and the 40% for foreign firms operating in India. As we have seen the concept and the element of the liberalization, now let us understand the concept of privatization. The term privatization implies a reduction in the role of public sector and increase in the role of private sector in business and non-business activities. In India, the concept of privatization gained importance in the post-reform period, that is 1991. As we have seen the major concept of the privatization, now let us understand major elements of privatization. Number one is the de-reservation of the public sector. This is the first element of the privatization. The number of industries reserved for the public sector was reduced from 17 to 8 in the year 1991. There was a further de-reservation of public sector. At present, there are only 3 industries reserved for the public sector, and these 3 sectors are railway, atomic power, and specified minerals. This de-reservation of the public sector has enabled the entry of the private sector in those industries which were earlier reserved for public sector. This has generated competition between the public and private sector firm, which in turn has improved the customer services and the efficiency of the firm. Now let us understand the second element of the privatization, that is disinvestment of public sector. In the year 1991, the government announced disinvestment of public sector units, especially non-strategic ones. Disinvestment is a process of selling government equity in public sector unit to private parties. A number of public sector units have been disinvested, such as BSNL, CMC, Balco, etc. The disinvestment is undertaken to achieve the following objectives. Now let us understand the objectives. Number 1, the provide good customer services. Number 2, to overcome political interference in the managing the units. Number 3, the overcome corruption in PSUs. And number 4 is to improve the efficiency of PSU. As we have seen the concept and element of privatization, now here you have to understand the basic concept of globalization. What is globalization? Globalization means integrating the national economy with the world economy. It implies free flow of goods and services, capital, technology, and labor across the national borders. The main purpose of the globalization is to exploit the global opportunities for local growth. This is the basic concept and meaning of globalization. Here you have to understand the main elements of globalization, and they are as follows. Number 1, introducing of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1991. The government of India introduced the FIMA 1999. What is the full form of FIMA? Foreign Exchange Management Act. So just you have to keep in mind the full form of FIMA 1999. I repeat, FIMA full form is F for foreign, E for exchange, M for management, and A for act. So I repeat, the Government of India introduced the FIMA 1999 by the replacing Foreign Exchange Regulation Act 1993. The FIMA 1999 made foreign exchange transactions easier, such as number 1, obtaining of funds by the Indian companies from abroad. Number 2, holding of property by the Indian nationals abroad. Number 3, oversees the investment by Indian firm through takeovers, mergers, or setting up new industries. And the last is holding of property in India by the NRI and overseas citizens. This is the second element of the globalization, that is the reduction in custom duty. The Government of India reduced the custom duty from 150% to 10% on most of the items. On certain items, custom duty is 5% or even 0, and luxury items like import of cars, the custom duty is over 100%. The reduction in import duty has resulted in cheaper imports into India. So this was about the reduction custom duty. Now just understand liberalization of foreign investment. The Government of India has liberalized FDI since 1991, and the FDI is allowed in number of sectors which can go up to 100%, and which in turn has given a good boost to Indian capital market. This is the fourth main elements of globalization, that is a setting of WTO agreements. You know all WTO, World Trade Organization. India has signed a number of WTO agreements in order to expand India's trade worldwide. For example, TRIPS, Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights Agreement. Second is TRIMS, that is a Trade Related Investment Measures Agreement. Third, General Agreement, that is a GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services Agreement. AA, that is Agreement on Agriculture. As we have seen the LPG concept and their important elements, so over here you have to understand, you will be asked something different question for the semester 2, that is write a short note on impact of globalization on industry. So globalization is a process of interlinking national economy with the world economy. That already have explained. It shows a free flow of goods and services, labor, capital across the national borders. The impact of globalization is as follows. Number 1, positive impact. Number 2, benefits of reduction in custom duties. Number 3, benefits of foreign direct investment. And number 4 is benefits of FDI. As we have seen the positive impact of globalization on industries, so let us understand over here the negative impacts of globalization on industries in two ways. Number 1, problems of domestic companies. The liberalized entry of foreign MNCs in Indian market may have the serious consequences on the domestic industries. The domestic firm find it difficult to compete with highly professional foreign MNCs. So this was about the problem for the domestic companies. Now you have to understand problem of foreign investment. The NIP 1991 liberalized the foreign investment in India. At present, FDI is allowed in several sectors. However, The MNCs are not very much interested in infrastructure development projects involving long gestation period. Also, FDI results in outflow of foreign exchange due to payment of dividends and royalties. Problem of foreign technology. The government has liberalized the import of foreign technology. Critics point out the foreign technology may not suit to Indian conditions. Again, there is a possibility of over dependence on foreign technology rather than the developing indigenous technology. Here you will be asked different questions in for semester 2. That is, question number 3 is what is the globalization, and explain the impact of globalization on employment. As we have seen in the earlier slide that what is the impact of globalization on industries, but here you have to understand the impact of globalization on employment. How? Just try to understand. Globalization has compelled Indian firms to improve the quality and reduce costs. One of the ways to reduce cost is to adopt the policy of lean and mean, which could have drastic effects on the employability in the organizations. Positive impact of globalization on employment. Number 1, employment in the service sector. The employment of in the service sector has increased from 20% in 1991 to over 30% in the year 2018. The main reason is the growth of service sector on account of LPG. This was about the employment in the service sector. Now you have to understand the point number 2 is impact of FDI on employment. Of course, this is the positive impact of globalization on employment. Impact of FDI on employment. Due to TRIMS agreement, the member of the countries of the WTO treat foreign investment as per with domestic investment. Therefore, the number of restrictions on the foreign investment have been removed. As a result, there has been increase in FDI in India, which resulted in increase the employment opportunities in urban areas. Increase in contractual workers. Due to globalization, the share of the contractual labor has increased. The increasing trend of such workers has reduced the grip of the trade unions over the management of firms. As we have seen the positive impact of globalization on employment, now here you have to understand the negative impact of globalization on employment. Introduction to labor saving devices. Globalization demands that firm need to be capable. There is a pressure on the firm to improve quality and to be cost effective. As a result, business firm resorts to labor saving devices such as high speed machines, computerization for the computing processing and analyzing information, etc. And therefore, there is an increasing number of job cuts across the various industries in India. Due to liberalization, the government has disinvested some of the PSUs. This has resulted in reduction of workforce in public sector. For example, the employment in the public sector was 191 lakh in the year 1991, but it came down to 176 lakhs in the year 2013. Employment in small scale sector. The small scale sector is one of the major sectors providing employment in India. The micro and small enterprises provided employment to about 7% of the total workforce in the country. However, the annual growth rate of the employment in this sector has remained more or less stagnant the past several years. One of the reason is the de-reservation of items reserved for small scale sector. For example, in the year 2000 there were over 870 items reserved for small scale sector, which now stands at about 20 items, which means about 850 items have been de-reserved from the small scale sector list. This has resulted in heavy competition for small scale units from medium and large industries, and therefore some of the small units have closed down, which in turn affected employment. Now here you will be asked something different question in the second semester, and this question will be question number 5. Explain the changes in agriculture sector due to globalization. Agrarian sector refers to the farming or agriculture sector. Market liberalization and the globalization have led to significant changes in the agriculture and agro-food markets in developing countries. Changes in food basket. The food basket is changing rapidly away from staple food grain towards high value food products. Therefore, agricultural production too is changing rapidly, with a higher growth in production of high value food products such as fruits and vegetables. Changes in agricultural marketing system. The changing production and the consumption pattern are being accompanied by changes in agricultural marketing system. The traditional marketing system dominated by the ad hoc transaction are being replaced by the coordinator. Integrated marketing systems such as supermarkets, retail chain and contract production. Changes in agricultural exports. Due to globalization, shift is taking place in agricultural exports. There is an increasing emphasis on exports of high value food products. The share of the fruits and vegetables in agriculture related exports is increasing. So this was about the changes in agricultural exports. Now you have to understand changes in the share of agricultural employment. The share of the agriculture sector has declined over the years. In the year 1991, the share of the agricultural employment was over 60%, which has declined to about 48%. With the increase in literacy, there is a growing shift toward the employment in the service sector. Here you have to understand changes in the share of agriculture in GDP. The share of the agriculture in GDP is declining in India, whereas that of the service sector is on the increase in the year 1991 and 92. The share of the GDP of the primary sector was 33%, which has come down to 15% in the year 2017-18. The decline share of the agriculture in GDP indicates the growth of economic development, because in developed countries the share of the agriculture in GDP is about only 2%. Changes in area of cultivation. There is a growing emphasis on the cultivation of cash crops such as sugarcane, oil seeds and cotton as compared to food grain. For example, the area under total food grain production has increased slightly, whereas the area under the production of the oil seeds and the cotton has increased far more. Contract farming and corporate farming. The concept of contract farming and the corporate farming has gained importance since the post-reform period. Contract farm is working with the farmers by the corporate firms such as PepsiCo and the sharing the rewards. Corporate farming is undertaken by the large corporate firms either by the buying the land on lease basis. Now over here you will be asked something different, new question. Question number 6, write short note on growth of corporate farming. In the post reform period, especially after the introduction of NAP 200, agricultural reforms are being undertaken. Significant role is being assigned to private corporate sector in rural development and poverty reduction. Corporate farming is one such initiative attempted in many Indian states alongside the contract farming. Several states such as Maharashtra, Gujarat, Goa, MP, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, and others have permitted corporate farming. Some of the firms that undertake corporate farming include IEEFL Pune. It operates in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Goa. It cultivates the plantations. It occupies about 1,500 acres of land. Next, Jamnagar Farms Private Limited, subsidiary of the Reliance Industries. It operates farms in Gujarat and Punjab. It deals with the agroforestry and the horticultural crops. It occupies about 7,500 acres of land. The next farm is ADAG. It operates in Punjab and cultivates the fruits and vegetables on a farm area of 3,500 acres. Next is SYP Agro, that is in the Ahmedabad. It operates in Gujarat. It cultivates the onions, spices, and the vegetable mainly for the export. Next corporate farm is Agri Gold Hyderabad. It operates in Telangana. It cultivates the farm products for the export. Next is a Field Fresh. It operates in Punjab and it cultivates the fruits and vegetables on an area of 300 acres. As we have seen the corporate farming, now here you will be asked something different question in the second semester, that is write a short note on increase in farmer suicide and explain the reason for farmer suicide. So just understand why the farmer hanging themselves. The country has been a phenomenal increase in farmer suicide over the years. The NCRB report, what is the full form of NCRB? National Crime Record Bureau. Please be noted. Just keep in mind the full form of NCRB is a National Crime Record Bureau. The NCRB report on accidental death and the suicides in India placed the number for 2001 at 16,415. According to NCRB data, the number of farmer suicide has decreased 67% from 17,368, that is in the year 2009, to just 5,650 in the year 2014. The shocking decrease in the number of farmer suicide is because the NCRB has changed its data collection method for the purpose. For the purpose of the data collection, the NCRB has classified farm related suicide under two categories: farmers and agricultural laborers. However, the credibility of the NCRB data and its data collection method is in question. The total farm related suicide in the year 2014 are 12,360 classified as a farmer suicide. which is 5,650, and the suicide in 2014 are 12,360, classified as a farmer suicide, which is 5,650, and suicides of the agricultural laborers are 6,710. As per the NCRB report on farmer suicide in 2015, the top 4 states having the highest number of farmer suicide are Maharashtra, that is 3,030, Telangana 1,358, Karnataka 1,197, and the Chhattisgarh 854. As we have seen why farmer suicide hang themselves, and that data already we have seen from all over India. Now let us understand over here why the farmer suicide or hang themselves. What are the different types of reasons behind it? The reasons are indebtedness. Number 2. Second reason is a higher input cost. Third reason is a lower prices for the output. Fourth reason is crop failures. And the fifth reason is lack of relief package for the farmers. Due to these reasons, farmer hanging themselves. As we have seen farmer suicides in India. Now here you have to understand short note on growth of IT and communication, that is information technology and communication. The Indian information technology industry accounts for about 8% of the India's GDP as of 2017-18. It provides employment to significant number of its tertiary sector workforce. However, only 2.5 million people are employed in the sector either directly or indirectly. According to NASOM 2017-18, annual revenue from IT sector is over US billion 167 billion. India's outstanding industry is expected to increase to US dollar, that is 225 billion by 2020. The most prominent IT hub is in Bangalore. The other emerging destinations are Chennai, Hyderabad, Coimbatore, Kolkata, Kochi, Pune, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. India is now one of the biggest IT capital in the modern world. India ranks second in the world as far as software exports are concerned. In the year 2017-18, India's share of the software exports was 40% in the total services exports. The services exports of India was about US dollar, that is 195 billion in the year 2017-18. Today, Bangalore is known as the Silicon Valley of India and contribute 33% of Indian IT exports. Infosys and Wipro software companies are headquartered in Bangalore. Mumbai too has its share of IT companies. India's first and largest IT company, that is a TCS, is headquartered at Mumbai. Thank you. Thank you so much.